There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is. And so when I meditate on that, it's interesting how, because it visits both ends of the spectrum of where people can view life as just random events. And then there's others that see miracles in the most ordinary things, like the most basic things. And so this explanation, or the way I see it, I'm not here to just shame people who see on either ends of the spectrum of seeing life as random events, or life, or seeing life and seeing the most ordinary things as miracles. So I'm not here to shame anyone on that spectrum. So that quote is really interesting, and it's not just spiritual fluff. It's actually practical, it's biological, and it's energetic. And so when I see certain things, and now because of pranic healing, when I see something, I usually try and spend time to absorb it and see what is actually beneath the layers, beneath the what's written. Because whoever's written it, there must be a reason why they've written it. And so I'm going to explain to you how this works in terms of our body. So, for example, our body, in my opinion, performs miracles every single day. You eat food, it converts to energy. And we don't even need to think about telling our body to convert it to energy. It just does it. When it's nighttime and we're sleeping, the mind processes emotion. And so your cells repair themselves. I'm not telling my cells, hey, thousands of you guys go now. I'm not physically telling them to do it. It automatically does it. Your immune system. So if you get a virus, the immune system straight away fights back without you even knowing. You don't even know what's going on inside your actual body. For example, you get a cut in the skin and simply it closes up. You're not getting an actual book. You're not telling your skin, hey, look, you need to close this up right now. You don't need any particular manual to do that. And so it does it automatically. So miracles, what I realized, they aren't just limited to the body, because as a pranic healing, we work on the body, but we also work on a psychological level using pranic psychotherapy, and we work with other things as well, not just the mind and the body. So if you think of someone, another example outside of the body, for example, if you think of someone and you haven't spoken to them for years or a long time, and they suddenly message you, that, in my opinion, is a miracle. That's pretty cool that you thought about them. Suddenly, they've just messaged you. How did that even happen? For example, another example could be like you show up 2 minutes late to an intersection and you miss a major car crash or a massive accident. That in itself is a miracle, because if something didn't block you or hold you back to cause you to be late, you would have walked into that accident. Or for example, you walk into a random event, you meet someone you've never known before, and now they become a huge part of your life. And all because you went to that event. And if you didn't go to that event, you never would have met them. They never would have been your best mate. Another example could be your gut instinct. And it turns out to be the best decision you've ever made because of that gut instinct. For example, when I'm teaching kids at school and they always struggle with multiple choice sometimes, and they're just not sure what to select. And usually they're like, oh, I feel like it's this answer, but I'm not sure. And I just say, just go with what you're feeling like, your gut instinct, just always. And I always say that prior to the test as well. And usually what I've noticed out of my years of teaching maths and psychology at a high school level, I've noticed that the gut instinct is usually correct, just out of pure observation. You may have different opinion about that, but what I've noticed is that the gut instinct is really true. Or for example, if, another example could be like if you've been rejected from something you really wanted and months later you realize it was actually protecting you from something that was actually worse. Now, some people might call those examples that I just mentioned good luck, or they might call it a coincidence. In pranic healing, we would see it as an intelligence of energy. And that intelligence of energy is always guiding, they're always organizing and aligning things beyond we can actually visually see. We can only see less than 0.01% on that spectrum, that UV spectrum. So imagine the remaining things that we can't see. I'll give you an example of a treatment I did for a person and considering eyesight. So they weren't blind, but their vision was starting to blur out. They started seeing shadows constantly. It was kind of clouding their vision. And so glasses didn't really help and surgery was being considered. And so in pranic healing, just as a side note, we always suggest to clients, to never, that pranic healing is a complementary to modern medicine. We never tell them, do not go to the doctor, do not go see the GP, or we never say, do not do that surgery. We just work as a complementary. So surgery was being considered, and we worked on, I worked on the actual client, on the energy pathways connected to the eyes. So there's so many different things that are connected to the vision. And so it was just 2 sessions, and it really depends on the actual client. It could take months, depending on the actual severity of the situation. So in this case, it was just literally 2 sessions. And so no surgery, no medication, just pranic healing really worked. Just energy in that case, intelligently guided. So was that a miracle, or was it actually life force doing what it naturally does once blocks are removed? So you can see the world as ordinary, or realize how much extra exists in the ordinary. And so nowadays, when I do have time, spare time, I'll actually go into my gratitude journal when I do have that time, and I'll just write down the things that I'm grateful for. And as I'm writing them, I'm realizing, wow, I never would have considered how miraculous certain things are that I used to previously consider as ordinary. It could literally just be breathing, or it could be the fact that I had an amazing conversation with someone that I never thought I would. And so miracles aren't always lightning bolts from the sky, is what I've just realized as well along the spiritual journey. Sometimes they're in your heartbeat, your timing, your healing, or that weird gut feeling that saved you. So you don't have to believe in magic to notice the magic in your everyday life. And that's what I've come to realize. And so if you're curious about pranic healing and how it works, you can send me a message. If you want a treatment, or if you know someone who's actually going through an ailment, you can always DM me. And I'm currently offering free sessions, treatments for anyone who would desire a pranic healing treatment. And I work on physical, psychological ailments, and other things as well. So if you need anything, let me know. But that was a really cool quote chosen by Megna, my niece. As you can see in the previous post, she's quite insightful. So yeah, we'll see what happens with the next quote. But thanks for watching, and toodaloo. Okay.